Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. In the first story, our OP's morning trip to the hardware store started off as a simple mission for packing tape, but quickly turned into a showdown in the parking lot. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Put up or shut up. Just happened this morning. I drove over to a big box hardware store to buy more packing tape. This particular store has a nice parking area listed as for veterans only. Thank you for your service. Okay, I don't know about other vets, but I pretty much hate the entire thank you for your service bit. Not the fact that people are grateful, but rather that it's become a different version of have a nice day. In short, something that's said by rote in certain situations without much thought or true feeling. On the other hand, I do like parking closer to doors. So I pull into one of the 6 veteran slots, turn off the car, and get out, only to find that my car is being scrutinized by Captain America. Not the real deal, of course, but a man who's wearing so much Patriot-branded crap that a World War II living legend in red, white, and blue fighting togs would facepalm and say, "Oh, for F's sake." For the sake of this tale, I'll call this guy Cap. Without looking up from my bumper, he says, "So you're a veteran, huh?" I frowned at his tone and replied, "Yeah, is there a problem?" Cap finally looked up at me, frowning under his little red MAGA cap, and said, "Prove it." "Excuse me?" I said, "Prove it, pal." He turned and gestured at a jacked-up pickup. I didn't notice it when I parked. I don't know how. Possibly my brain refused to believe my eyes and edited it out. It was covered in stickers and mottos, had a flagpole in the bed flying an oversized flag. "That's the right of a veteran. You don't even have any bumper stickers or a single American flag, so prove you're a veteran." I looked him over and shook my head. "No." "Anything else?" He sneered and walked away, pulling out a phone. I watched him walk up to a guy standing outside of the store and get into what seemed like a heated discussion. I waited to see if anything would come of it, then shrugged and started for the entrance. However, the guy he'd been yelling at called me over. He introduced himself as the manager of the store and explained, "Excuse me, sir, but this gentleman is of the opinion you're abusing our veteran parking." "I'm sorry, but can you possibly prove you served in the military, please?" I thought about it for a moment, but he looked harassed and had said, "Please," so I smiled and pulled out my retired ID. A bit over 2 decades and medically retired. That good enough? The manager apologized and I added, "Now, how about him?" "What?" Cap bellowed, astonished. "Well, you insisted I prove I'm a veteran. How about yourself? Got anything other than a crappy sense of personal taste to prove you served?" He complained that he'd served 2 tours in the sandbox, and did I expect him to carry his 214 on him? So I interrupted and pointed out that he seemed to expect that of me, so put up or shut up. When he couldn't even provide a VA card, the manager insisted that he move his America-mobile out of the veteran parking out of fairness. Instead, Cap roared off in a self-righteous cloud of patriotic diesel smoke and promises to get all the local veterans to boycott the store. The manager didn't seem worried, but I gave him my name and number in case Cappy decided to complain to corporate. In return, he was nice enough to give me a nice discount on my tape. Best dose of karma I've ever seen. And thank you for seeing that the manager was beleaguered, and so you just provided the info. Man, he would have blown up, and this would not have been the karma-filled satisfaction that we're enjoying today. And our second story. Entitled Bridezilla demands free dress. I recently did a lot of spring cleaning and got rid of so much stuff that had just been taking up space, donated some things, made a couple bucks selling others. I won't lie, that crap felt good. Anyway, I had 3 bridesmaid dresses that had only been worn to 1 wedding apiece. I held on to them by telling myself that I'd need a fancy cocktail-type dress at some point. 2 to 5 years later, they still had never been worn again, decided it was time to let go. A friend told me about a local Facebook group she was in where people give bridesmaids, wedding, and prom dresses away to those who were in a bind and couldn't afford a brand new or retail. Cool concept. So I took some photos of the dresses, posted the sizes, and put them up for grabs. Almost immediately, a woman commented on the photos of my favorite of the 3, a really modern, vibrant red lace number. She said she needed a dress for her cousin's wedding, said she loved it, and that it was even her size. She lived pretty close by, too. Perfect. She messaged me her phone number, and we arranged for me to drop the dress off to her as she said she didn't have a car. She was very friendly and kept thanking me through texts. I was so glad she loved the dress and didn't mind bringing it to her, as she only lived a 5-minute drive from me. The next day, she calls me to thank me once again and ask when I'll be dropping by. I get in my car and head to her address. First thing I notice is that there's 2 cars parked in her driveway. Maybe those are friends or something. She answers the door, we exchange pleasantries, and I hand her the dress. "Would you mind waiting here so that you can zip it all the way up? I want to try it on. I'm so excited," she says. I agree to wait on a small bench right outside her front door while she runs to put it on. She comes back outside and, oh boy, I can see on her face that she isn't happy. The dress is a bit too small. Still, though, she insists on me attempting to zip it up. I try my best, but can't get the zipper past her midsection. This is when this formerly sweet-seeming lady gets angry. First, she nonchalantly makes a comment about the size. "You said this is a size 7. There's no way, you've got that wrong. I'm a 6 usually. This is just ridiculous." I inform her that there's a tag inside and that I'm not mistaken on the size. For some reason, this comment was offensive to her. She turns beet red, almost matches the dress color. She starts raising her voice a bit. "Well, so now what are we going to do? You promised me this dress and I can't afford one right now." I don't really know what to say, but then remember that a year ago my sister had gone to a seamstress who was able to expand a dress due to her baby bump. So I mentioned that I could get the info of a seamstress who might be able to add a panel and fit the dress to her frame. She had stated that this was her dream dress, so if that was really the case, the tailor may be able to work her magic. She erupted. "You promised me this dress, so how fast can she get it done if you take it there? This is so inconvenient." I calmly tell her that she'll be the one who would have to take it to the seamstress so that she can try it on and have her see if and where alterations would be made. Lady: "Well, what day can you go? I need this done immediately." Me: "Oh, I won't have to go. I'll send you her number and you can schedule with her directly." Lady: "Excuse me? So you expect me to pay to have this crappy dress fixed? When you were giving it away for effing free?" Me: "Well, you surely can't expect me to give you the dress free and pay to have it altered." Lady: "Wow, I can't believe this. So you promised me a free dress up front, but now you're saying I have to pay for it? You should be ashamed of yourself." I'm dumbfounded at this point. I legitimately don't know what to say because I no longer needed or wanted the dress. I chose to just walk away back toward my car. She screamed, "You promised!" about 7 times before I could get out of there. That evening, she went into the gown gifting group and made an entire post about me being a bad person for not helping someone truly in need. I explained the situation in the comments to the best of my ability. Wouldn't you know it, someone in the group who does alterations offered to do it for her for free. I left that group. Did people actually support her in the group instead of you? WTF is wrong with them? You weren't at fault here at all. And our last story. Entitled lady tries to take my stuff after trespassing on private property. So this happened last year. So to set the scene, I live in a very small beach town in North Carolina. We get a crazy amount of tourists in the summer months, but not quite as much as Myrtle Beach, a large city in South Carolina, one of the most popular on the East Coast outside of Florida. We get our fair share of naive tourists, and during my time as a lifeguard, I probably got asked 3,000 questions about sharks or jellyfish or stingrays in a day. Instead of saving people from the water, I spent most of my time telling people to stay off the dunes or telling people not to swim up to boats. So anyway, the cast composed of myself, a naive entitled tourist, and her naive entitled son. So anyway, I saw that there was supposed to be some excellent surf one day and decided to head to the beach for a little shredding action. My beach access is part of a private neighborhood and is paid for by my HOA, which means that it's private property. Once I get up to it, I see a middle-aged woman and her son, maybe 6 or 7, standing at the gate holding floats. I think, great, I have a little arguing to do because people are supposed to stay off unless they pay taxes for it to be maintained. I walk up and the convo goes a little like this. EM: "Hey, what's the code for this beach access?" Me: "Well, it's private access. Are you visiting? I haven't seen your face around here. Where are you staying?" EM points at a house that isn't part of the HOA. It was developed after my neighborhood was. Me: "Oh, that house is part of a different neighborhood. That one uses a public access. See where the sidewalk is?" EM, oh, come on, it's right across the street. Just tell us the code. Me, no ma'am. This access is paid for by our own taxes. There's a public access literally 50 feet to the left with no code. EM, no, I demand you let me and my son through or I'll call the police. Me, go ahead. In the meantime, I'm going to use the public access. If you care to join me on the beach, then you can follow me on that access. I left her and her son red-faced like that and walked to the public access. About 10 minutes go by and I kind of forget about the pair. I'm putting wax on my board and waiting for my friend to show up in the meantime. I turn away from my board to head down and look at the water and look for a good spot or a rip current, and lo and behold, I see the kid trying to lift my board and his mom grinning at him. Keep in mind, my board is a 9-foot beast that has to weigh at least 50 pounds. My dad got it in Maui 20 years ago from a custom board store that's no longer open, and it cost at least $700 or $800. I run back up to the pair, and my usually good nature was out the window. Me, hey lady, get the F off my stuff. EM, how dare you speak to me like that? Me, I'll speak to you however I want. Tell your son to stop grabbing my stuff. At this point, he had it fins up and was sitting on it, which is a massive no-no for surfing. It curves upward, so if you put too much weight on it, it might snap. I yank it out from under him, and he fell forward into the sand. EM, get away from my son. I'm going to sue you until you need to file for bankruptcy. Me, what the hell, lady? I'm defending my property. You can't sue me for crap. EM, effing pedo. My baby just wanted to see it. He wasn't hurting anyone. At this point, her son is bawling, and he's screaming something along the lines of, Mommy, he broke my rib. Me, grow up, kid. Lady, don't touch my stuff again or I'll call the police on you. At this point, a lot of people around me are angry at the lady, and I notice my friend has shown up and has a massive grin on his face. When I look away to make a face at him, the lady tries to yank the board out of my hands. I just let it drop. It falls on her, and she buries her butt in the sand. I snatch it back up from her and jerk a thumb at my friend to run for the water. I turn to the kid and say, don't turn out like your mother. I then turn and run towards the water with my friend and fill him in, and from what we can see from the waves, the lady's getting shamed off the beach by other beachgoers, most of whom knew me and knew I wouldn't fly off the handle unless it was something crazy. Typical Karen response, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to sue you. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.